So happy Wednesday, everyone. How are you doing on this amazing Wednesday evening where we have an opportunity to get to know Bob, these amazing Black business owners who are doing phenomenal things within our community. We get to support them, whether they are business owners or founders of nonprofits, whether they are authors and musicians in the arts, all walks of life. We celebrate what our community is doing and the contributions they are making. I am your host, Sonia M. Weaver, and I am glad to be back. I have been away for a couple of weeks. 1 week was not intentional. I actually fell under the weather. Yes, I was ill, could barely even swallow, let alone try to talk and have a show. So, yes, unexpectedly that got rescheduled. And then on a Wednesday, Valentine's Day fell. So, yes, we didn't decide to have a show on Valentine's Day to give an opportunities for all you lovers out there, those who are enjoying one another and have your Valentines. We didn't want to have any conflict or competing events. I try not to compete with events, and I'm not going to compete with Love Night at all. So thank you for your, hanging in there with us and being away for a couple of weeks. While you were gone and while I was gone, I had a birthday in between as well. Can you believe it? Yes, another year of God's blessing. I want to say I am extremely thankful that I have an opportunity to be on this side of heaven for yet another day. I can't say yet another year. The year has passed. I'm into a new year. And if God willing, then I will see another birthday. And so every time I get to celebrate another year on this side of heaven is not short of a blessing. I have been quite busy. Even though I haven't been here these couple of weeks, I have been quite busy. And on tonight's show, I'm just going to highlight Linked, because Linked has been starting out the gate of 2024 strong, doing some amazing things and having things like birthday parties and fundraising events, celebrating our young women, and just keep on keeping on. We have an event this weekend recognizing Down syndrome awareness, and we just have a gathering with the family. But what I'm highlighting today is because it's the month of love, and like I said, it was my birthday. So we do our annual Linked celebration of love event. So just giving you a little heads up of where we were doing Heart Health Month, and we were beating for heart awareness, getting some tips about what heart disease actually is doing, the statistics, the impact. And it is still at the top of the list. Don't let you get fooled by everything else we suffer with. Heart disease is at the top of the list for fatalities within our community. So we have to make sure we educate ourselves and do what is necessary to keep our heart healthy. And that is what we're doing for the month of February with Heart Health Month. And then, of course, February is the month of love. So again, we had a celebration of love where we had couples and we had singles just coming out, and we were just talking about all things love and having just a good old time. And so I really must say that I have enjoyed the month of February thus far. It is a leap year as well, so we get to celebrate, because I say this is my birthday month. I get one more day within my birthday month to enjoy it this year. Next week will be the last, and then we'll be heading into March Madness, where we have some great things in store for you. But as we are here tonight, we have some amazing things in store on tonight's episode. So let us get going. I want to remind you, because it's been a minute. The last time we actually had a show was on January the 24th, where we had a phenomenal conversation with Marvin Cotton. If you missed that episode, you will want to check it out. We were discussing about how you are fighting for your freedom on the other side of being exonerated. And that is an amazing discussion that you do not want to miss. So make sure you go back and view it, because we need you. We need you to vote. We need you to be informed, and we need you to be the voice to make the difference. On tonight's episode, our conversation is going to be with the phenomenal Kenneth Scott, who you know is no stranger here at Get to Know Bob. And it's always an honor when we have an opportunity to speak with Ken. Hello, Ken. How are you?
I am doing great, Sonia. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, thank you for always being gracious enough to accept it. And this is a time of year, because we're still in the first quarter. This is only February.
Absolutely.
So we know in the beginning of the year, people have that money on their mind. Those are those things that people thinking about. This year, I'm going to get my finances together. This year, I'm going to get my health together. This year, I'm going to get my relationships together. We always saying these things, and it's kind of the same top 3 to 5 things that you hear. So it just will make perfect sense for you to be here at the beginning for those people who have said in 2024 they are desiring home ownership. So thank you
Absolutely.
for being here. And
Thank
in
you.
case people do not know who you are and missed the other times you have been here, I'm going to give you an opportunity to let everybody know who you are, what you do, and then, of course, why you do what you do.
Okay. My name is Ken Scott. I am the real estate broker for CSW Real Estate. Also, am the president of the Greater Detroit Realtist Association, of which our charge is to increase Black home ownership, thus creating Black wealth. I am also a HUD certified housing counselor, as well as a developer in the city of Detroit presently. So, been in the business for over 26 years as of March 28th of this year. So I'm looking forward to my anniversary. I believe that we've done some great things with the association, as well as just doing some great things with the market itself. The market has fluctuated over the years, and we're looking to have a basically a come out year, and that being we're going to have a number of events where the consumer, the person that's buying, the person that has rented for a number of years, can jump in there with both feet and make sure that they have a home of their own, a home for their family, home for their themselves, but at the same time have it more affordably. One of the things that we like to point out is the fact that you have mortgages out there that are specific for our community. You have down payment assistance that has never existed before, and expanded underwriting guidelines that can help you achieve home ownership as well. In the year 2004, home ownership was at 50% for the Black community nationwide. Now
Mhm.
it's at 40%. What
Wow.
we want to do over the next few months is make sure that everyone that wants a home has an opportunity to enjoy it as well as achieve it. So that's our goal for this year.
So Ken, you gave us a statistics of which we went backwards. Can you please share why you think, being an expert in this area, what are your thoughts or reasons why you feel we went backwards versus moving forward?
Absolutely. Uh, Obviously, the foreclosure crisis that happened between 2006 and 2014. After that, we were basically just trying to get our footing back. Then we started giving up on home ownership because we were listening to our mother, our father, our families talking about how difficult home ownership was to attain as well as to retain. So, with all those things that were pitted against us and what have you, they are no longer present, but at the same time, they had a heavy effect, a heavy impact on how we look at home ownership now. So, what we're trying to do is remove a lot of the obstacles that are presented in our market today and make sure that they're alleviated. And if you have a credit score of 580 and what have you, it's attainable. But at the same time, you have to pay your bills on time for the last 12 to 24 months. And when you pay your bills 12 to 24 months and you have a decent income over the last 2 years, I can find you a mortgage that can help you and help you affordably as well.
Gotcha. So, duly noted, the real estate market in that unfortunate time frame was a contributing factor, but it sounds
Absolutely.
like it was not as big of a contributing factor as we would like to believe. It sounds like it was more of our viewpoint and our way we perceived home ownership that really played a part in it as well. So with that being said, are we like trying to get people to understand that the lies out there are really the lies and not the truth? I mean, is that what you're finding?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned the word lies as opposed to myths that are out there, because there are some lies out there. And we hope to dispel all of those, especially as it relates to the mortgages that are available now through some of the national banks, the regional banks, and the local banks. There are banks investing in our area every day that weren't investing in our area during that time that foreclosure was happening. In a lot of ways, they were just the opposite. They were working against us in order to attain home ownership. And there's a lapse in home ownership. That's the diminishing of home ownership in our community, that those banks and those financial institutions weren't willing to work with us as they are presently.
And that's good to know. Thank you for sharing even that information. I do have then an additional question to ask. You know, I've heard previously, before the whole housing market issue, that part of the contribution that went to that and part of people losing is because of unethical practices of getting people in homes during that time.
Absolutely.
Can you share some light on that, if that's some truth in that?
Absolutely. At that time, there were a lot of names out there for it: negative amortization, ARMs, high rates, high fees, and it was all bundled up in predatory lending. Predatory lending, where you may have had stated income. People stated what their income was without any verification, and at the same time, they received a mortgage for that property. And then, with no verification needed and what have you, they weren't able to retain that property. But I can't put the onus on either one. I think it was evenly distributed in the sense that we needed to provide the necessary information to retain the home, but at the same time, they needed to be along the lines of being truthful with our community as it relates to what the requirements were.
Gotcha. So Ken, I'm going to share this comment, and then we're going to go into a quick break. And as soon as we come back, I want you to respond with your thoughts about the comment, okay?
Not a problem.
The question was posed: what are your thoughts about home ownership? And the comment that came out of that was, I'm a fan of home ownership, though I worry that housing prices are slowly making this an option for only a privileged few. So we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, please
jump right into it.
Huh? No, because I think you might go on a little bit with that one. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Okay.
Right. For an exciting journey, youth ages 10 through 16 years old. Join BUF's Adventures in Literacy program. Enroll now and embark on a literacy experience like never before. Visit www.bufme.org.
Operation Refuge now enrolling kindergarten to 12th grade. All school districts welcomed. The After School Boost is a safe after-school program that provides students with educational enrichment with a boost of fun and structured activities after school in their community. Contact Barbara Green or email operationrefugeprograms@gmail.com.
Virtual office hours with financial strategist Crystal Gunn. Your daily dose of financial empowerment. A journey towards financial wisdom and small business mastery. Monday through Thursday 12 p.m. through 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Personal finance and small business strategies.
This Friday night decompression session hosted by Sonia M. Weaver and Jason Integrity. Come celebrate the wins, let go of the stress, vent, share, and encourage. Register on Alignable.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, search Deals with Bob and click the subscribe button.
Well, welcome back, Ken. See, they gave you time to ponder and get your thoughts together. Do I need to read the comment again, or are you good to go?
I want you to read the comment again.
Okay. The question was just posed. What are your thoughts on home ownership? I am a fan of home ownership, though I worry that housing prices are slowly making this an option for only a privileged few.
Okay. First and foremost, home ownership is the best way to attain wealth. Hands down. Okay. Second of all, the issue as it relates to home prices going up, the market fluctuates all the time. The fluctuates on demand, supply and demand. Right now, there is too much supply and the demand is down. I can't say that in the next few months that it won't turn, because it will. Because once the $25,000 from the city has been reestablished and re-promoted, then you're going to have a lot of individuals reaching into their pockets, trying to attain home ownership again. And that $25,000, that grant that the city is offering, is going to make home ownership more affordable. So you're going to have a lot of competition there where there isn't now. There are a number of homes on the market where prices are actually being reduced in order for you to purchase now. But like I always state, preparation meets opportunity. And you have to position yourself best for you and your family to take advantage of some of these mortgages, down payment assistance, and underwriting guidelines that are specific to our community. It is a good time to be Black. Okay, and I say that not in jest, that financial institutions are looking for Black people to buy homes now. Okay, they have made it extremely easier than it has been in the past. I attended a forum the other night with a bank last night, and they have created programs specifically for our community, specific to their bank. And not only that, they're going to relocate in our community so you can access it. Where other banks are leaving, they're coming in. They want to make themselves known as a community bank. I'm not mentioning any names, but at the same time, in the next few months, you'll see the bricks and the mortars showing up in your neighborhood if you're on the northwest side.
Okay.
So when those banks come up, they're going to offer you programs where there was a program called, well, I won't even say the name, but it was $15,000 grant just because you were Black. Not where you were buying to or buying from, but at the same time, it was available to you because you were Black. It wasn't an income guideline. It wasn't a price on the home. Go ahead.
That's what I was going to inquire, because are you obligated to be restricted to a certain geography in order to have these funds? Because maybe you don't want to be in a certain geography. Let's just be honest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Most grants are conditioned to the point where there's a geographical targeted area that's associated with that grant. It could be a certain census tract. It could be a certain city. It can be a certain county. Like I mentioned about the $25,000 grant from the city of Detroit, that's specifically to the city of Detroit, all 7 districts. You just have to be a resident of the city for a year, live in the house for 3 years, be a first-time home buyer, and be able to fall within the income guidelines of that program. Now, if that's the case and what have you, you will fall in line with the individuals that took advantage of it, the grant last year, of which there were over 430 first-time home buyers that took advantage of the grant. Okay, they're in their homes now. They're looking, their friends and family are looking for the grant again to come up. I just spoke to city officials. It should be in place by March, if not the first part of April. But at the same time, again, preparation meets opportunity. And if you're prepared, you can take advantage of the opportunity. If you're not, and what have you, you're going to miss out on the opportunity. So we started the show talking about finances and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Your credit score is always going to be an issue. But at the same time, if your credit score is decent, and by decent, I mean 580 and above, and you have paid your bills on time for the last 12 to 24 months, then I can find a mortgage for you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you haven't, that history is going to follow you. It's the last 12 to 24 months that are the most important. If you have not paid your bills, you might as well start over again, because the moment you didn't make that payment and the moment you were late, you got to start 12 months out again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how that's going to affect you is, if you're renting presently and you haven't paid your landlord and you haven't paid your bills on time and what have you, that is going to reflect negative on you, because right now financial institutions are using alternative credit. Things that were not on your credit report before, such as your rent, your utilities, your cable bill, your cell phone bill, your car insurance, your car, whatever the case may be. If those things were not on your credit report before, you can utilize those things if they have positive marks on your credit.
Right.
If you paid your bills on time. If those things are in place and what have you, that's an extra asset to you as far as
What about, did we lose you? Okay. What about the
you must have had my number up, Sonia.
No, I didn't. What about the person whose credit score is low because of the debt to income ratio, but they're paying everything on time?
That's the other thing. Debt to income ratios have been expanded. But at the same time, if you're carrying too much debt, I don't care if you're paying your bills on time or not, what have you, that's going to be a reflection on the requirements of the program or the grant or the loan that you take out. So you have to be cognizant of that. If your debt to income ratio exceeds 45 to 50%, then you have to be cognizant that it is entirely too much at this point in time. And you need to pay down some of your bills, or wait a little longer than you normally would have. The other thing is student loans. If you saw on my Facebook page today and others through Fox and a few other stations, Fox 2, click on Detroit, Channel 4, Channel 7, all the news stations in the city of Detroit, they were telling you about how student loans were being paid off and to what extent they were being paid off. If you've been in a nonprofit, whether it's a school, a church, a first responder, a hospital, whatever the case may be, some of your student loans may have been forgiven. You need to check with your servicer presently from this point forward. Tomorrow, start calling your servicer, whether it's Mahila, whether it's Navient, whether it's somebody else. Make sure that your student loans have been forgiven, because if you have exceeded that 10 years, you might not have to make another payment and all of your debt has been forgiven.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Ken, I just saw this, and I would love for you to give additional insight. What does this flyer represent?
This represents Ken Scott is the down payment resource king in Detroit. All right. And let me tell you why. Like I stated before, down payment assistance was few and far between. I think Mr. was the only one that was consistent at the time, and they had 7,500. They now have 10,000. So that's that black 10,000. But let me start at the top. 25,000 is the city of Detroit. 15,000 was the grant just for being Black. What's not reflected on here is the $14,000 that's in Wayne County targeted communities, where you can receive $14,000 in down payment assistance. 10,000 is MISTA. 7,500 is a number of other, anywhere from 2,000 to 7,500 are other institutions, whether it be a bank, a credit union, a nonprofit, or any financial institution. They have the monies presently that they can offer you in order for you to help you buy a home and help you buy it more affordably. Now, all of these items that are here, they can be stacked or bundled.
That's what I was about to ask.
They can be bundled.
You were in my thoughts.
Okay, I have a client that bought a house 2 months ago. They were paying $1,200 in rent. They are presently paying $500 in a mortgage.
Wow.
And the house is in better shape.
Wow.
So that person is saving $700. And I want to ask you all, your listening audience, what could you do with an extra $700 a month?
Right.
Do you want to be cost burden? And let me explain cost burden. There's a term in financial circles called cost burden. Cost burden is when you're paying over 30% of your monthly income in rent. Severely cost burden is when you're paying over 50% of your monthly income in rent. He was doing that, and now he's not.
Gotcha.
He's got an extra $700. And my question again is, what can you all do with an extra $700?
$8,400 a year.
Exactly.
$8,400 a year. And before we then let that marinate to the viewing audience, we're going to take a short break so that we can find out some more amazing things that are happening in and throughout our community. We'll be right back.
Black History Month Black Business Crawl. Friday, February 23rd. Join anytime on the schedule. Questions, call 313-224-4950.
The Joint. Let's celebrate Black History Month plus the month of love. February 24th from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. $30 per person. CA 313-444-2308 to RSVP. Cocktails and moderated conversation exploring the intricacies of relationships while celebrating Black history.
Cola presents Live Music Tuesdays. Dennis Brown Tribute, doors open at 6 p.m. Hosted by Uprising, featuring special guest Max Suavo. 32523 Northwestern Highway, Farmington Hills, Michigan. This is a boss-approved event.
Detroit Metro Plug Podcast and Father's Justice Law present Biz Life Book Club Meetup. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Wednesday, February 28th at 6:30 p.m. Discussion of chapters 6 through 10. 9300 Pardee Road in Taylor, Michigan. Virtual option via StreamYard.
Free financial literacy workshop. Thursday, February 29th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Are you prepared? How to begin? Do you have enough? Identifying, understanding and protecting the most valuable asset, you. Eastside Church of Christ, 149 Martin Luther King Boulevard, Pontiac, Michigan. RSVP via Eventbrite.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, search Deals with Bob and click the subscribe button.
Okay, so we're back. And before we continue into our discussion, as I stated at the beginning of the show, Ken is not a stranger here to get to know Bob. In our most recent conversation, in the event you missed it, because I'm telling you, you want to get every little tip and detail that Ken has shared, because we may not say the same things that were said previously. So that episode was April the 5th, 2023. Just do a search on YouTube and you'll be able to watch that previous episode. So as we move into some of the past things that you have been involved with, we did pull up the most, well, recent that was in the past, if that makes sense,
Okay.
event. And that was the Greater Detroit Realtors Association Home Buyers and Lending Resource Fair. Now, I know you were really geared up and excited about this event for the opportunities that it could offer for the community. Is there anything that was introduced during this time frame close to a year ago that is still in existence today, and or is there something that has replaced it or even become better?
Absolutely. The programs that were mentioned on that flyer are even more accentuated now than they ever were at that point in time, which was almost 11 months ago, 10 to 11 months ago. The mortgage products, whether they be portfolio products, the products specific to a bank, or the products that are specific to the government-sponsored entity, such as Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and Federal Home Loan Bank, they have actually created even better programs, even better mortgages to help our community attain home ownership. The down payment assistance programs have been expanded. At that time, I know we were the first ones to introduce the $25,000 down payment assistance from the city. But at the same time, this year is going to be even bigger and better because they're going to be hopefully more money attached to the grant from the ARPA funds, the American Rescue Plan Act, that's done by President Biden and his administration. Once that gets kicked off in March, I've been told it's March, and I hope they keep their timeline, is going to give a lot more first-time home buyers an opportunity to buy a home and buy it more affordably. Like I said, you have to be a resident of Detroit or foreclosed in a certain amount of time. I forgot what the time frame was. You got to be income driven. First-time home buyer means that you do not have any financial interest or physical interest in a property at this point in time, meaning that your name is not on the title or the legal, the title or the what do you call it, or the deed or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, this is a means to attain home ownership for our community. For those people that are renters and generational renters, you all have moved from place to place to place for various reasons. Now's the time to move into a community, stay in that community for a number of years, like our parents and grandparents did, and establish some stability within that community. And keep in mind that if you're in a house that was once empty, you have made that neighborhood safe by just your presence in that house. You paying that bill on a monthly basis, whether it be for 30 years or however long you live there. You're creating stability in our community. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking to help you attain Black wealth. Black wealth is achieved over time. Like a comedian said one time, you can get rich playing the lottery, but wealth transcends generations.
Right.
Okay. Wealth is established by you passing on that legacy to your child and your grandchild and what have you, because other communities have done it. Why can't we use the same model that they've used in order to enrich our community?
Exactly. So I have a couple questions for you. We talked about getting prepared, and you mentioned a couple things about employment and such. Now, because of my platform working with Black business owners, what would the full-time business owner that does not have your traditional W-2, what would they need as a first-time home buyer? How would their portfolio add up to that, especially when it could be a little rocky when it comes to consistency of income.
Okay, independent contractors, unlike those that are working for an establishment and getting a paycheck on a regular basis, independent contractors may be based on the job that they perform or the act that they perform or what have you, and that's distributed through a 1099. 1099, they're going to look at your profit and loss statements for the last 2 years. So what they're going to look at is how your business has done over the last 2 years, and then they're going to divide it by 2. If you've made, say, 100,000 over 2 years, then your income for the year is going to be 50,000, provided you don't take too many deductions. If that's the case and what have you, they're going to base it on how much money you brought in from your contracting work and what have you, and make sure that you can sustain that and support that with documentation from your pay stubs or your contracts, your jobs that you've completed, your bank statements, and your 1099. If that's the case and what have you, and like I stated, if you don't take too many deductions and what have you, they can assist you with that. Let me also bring your attention to Accounting Aid Society. Accounting Aid Society is a nonprofit that helps individuals in our community have free tax preparation, free income tax preparation. They have a division specifically for the homeowner or the renter or the potential home buyer. But at the same time, they also have programs for those individuals that have their own independent contracting business. They can help you get your books in order, in other words, in order to attain home ownership or to be just financially solvent. But at the same time, you have to know about these entities, and the telephone number is 313-556-1920.
Okay.
Again, the phone number is 313-556-1920. They are here to help you, whether you're a renter, home buyer, homeowner, a business owner.
Okay.
But at the same time, if you're making under 60 grand, they will do your taxes for free.
Okay.
You can take it into them. You can send them via email, or you can actually drop them off, and they'll prepare them, and they'll call you after the taxes have been completed. But at the same time, our community, when I hear individuals that are looking to become homeowners or home buyers and what have you, they haven't done their taxes over the last 2 years. That's absolutely essential to the process, because not only do you need your W-2s for the last 2 years or your 1099s for the last 2 years, you need your bank statements for the last 2 months and your pay stubs for the last 2 months. And then I always suggest that you email all of those individual documents to yourself, so it's in one email. So when you look at it, all the documentation is there, and the only thing you have to do is send it to a lender and make sure that they have received it, and they can calculate and go through the credit application and what have you, and assign you a task if need be, but at the same time, hopefully approve you for a loan based on the verification of the documents that they've received.
Gotcha. So for those who are 1099 out there, you do have options available to you, because it's been murmured and rumored that is more difficult and impossible, like difficult to impossible for home ownership unless you're just doing well off into your business. So I just thank you for that opportunity for sharing. So before we go into our next segment, we do have a couple more events that we're going to highlight. So let's take a moment and then we'll get right back.
Ownership, a free home buying seminar. Thursday, February 29th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Adams Butzel Rec Center, 500 Linden. Facilitator Kenneth L. Scott, CSW Real Estate. Are you ready to buy a home? Learn what you need to make it happen.
Encourage Me I'm Young, Inc. 11th Annual Community All-You-Can-Eat Pancake Breakfast. Saturday, March 2nd from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Rosedale Baptist Church 14179 Evergreen Road, Detroit, Michigan. $20 per ticket. Collaborative partners will share information you can use.
MSC Mortgage and Credit Ready Clinic, presented by United Community Solutions. March 4th and March 16th. Cost is $45. This virtual clinic will be facilitated by Crystal L. Gunn, financial strategist. Only 12 spots per clinic available. Register today.
Link wants you to save the date. National Women's Month, a celebration of women, Saturday, March 16th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. More information coming soon.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, search for Deals with Bob and click the subscribe button.
So we're back. As you saw our events segment, you have a future event that is coming up right around the corner.
Absolutely.
This is Pathways to Home Ownership. So share more information about this event.
Yeah, years ago, I would say around 5 years ago, myself and Kim Tandy, who is the district manager for District 2 in the city of Detroit, established Pathways to Home Ownership. And we did that because we knew that if people were aware of the possibility of home ownership, then they could possibly attain it as well. So we put together these forums in order to increase persons' knowledge base, as well as just give them an understanding of the home buying process. Over the years, it's developed where I've worked with a number of other district managers within the city of Detroit, under the leadership of Ray Solomon, the Department of Neighborhoods. And in doing so, we've helped a number of people just attain a better understanding of the home buying process and what it takes to become a homeowner. It's been extremely rewarding in the sense that a lot of the individuals that bought homes with the $25,000 grant were coming out of the classes that we had taught. And statistics show that if a person attends a HUD certified housing counseling class or something similar to that effect, if they attend those classes, they're more likely to sustain home ownership as opposed to relinquish it. Gotcha. We want you to stay in the home as long as you want to, as long as you have the desire to live there, as opposed to being affected by other situations that affect home ownership.
So Ken, throughout this show, you've mentioned, and I've even said, first-time home buyers, first-time programs, first time. What if you're not first time? What if you had a mortgage, something happened, you're no longer having a mortgage? Are you considered first time, or you just don't qualify for these?
If your name is not on a physical deed or title and what have you, then you have an opportunity to own a home again. If you've been foreclosed on, and I can't think of the criteria at this time, but if you were foreclosed at a certain period of time in the city of Detroit, then you can become a first-time home buyer again. For those of you that have lost your home over the last few years and your name is not on the title physically or financially, then you have an opportunity to attain home ownership again. So one of the things that a person asked me at one of the events that we had done in the past was, what was the number one obstacle to a person attaining home ownership? And that's just fear of the process. Fear of not knowing what the information is, the work that goes into it, the number of documents that are needed in order for you to get approved and find a home that is on the market that meets your specifications. Right. There are a lot of homes on the market presently that have 3-bedroom, 1 bath. We use the term functionally obsolescent because it's outgrown its usefulness in the sense that it's not meeting the needs of today. where most parents have their kids staying at home longer, or they have their parents moving back with them in that home and what have you. If you have 3 bedrooms, that's fine. And hopefully they're not just like little rooms of 10 by 10 or something like that. But if you have 1 bath, that's functionally obsolescent.
Right.
Because what are you going to do? One's going to use the bathroom and the other one's going to use the bucket?
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
I mean, we grew up in those
like that, but
bungalows.
at the same time, we don't have to regress.
I know.
Okay.
I'm just saying. We're being honest. You know, that's how it was. Because I thought about it myself. I thought about it like, wow, because you know, I had this luxury going on. Like, you know, I'm thinking like I got 2 full and a half, and then I'm thinking like, okay, when I do the you know, remodel, I'm like, I need an extra full bath on that level.
Exactly.
Here we are.
Another good example is years ago, when the market was crazy and we were going through the foreclosure crisis, when they had the appraisals done on the various homes and the garage was leaning or falling down and everything, they always recommended that you not fix it and that you just tear down the garage. What that did was that accelerated and added to the expense of our home insurance, homeowners insurance, because no longer was our car in the garage.
Right.
No longer was it in the driveway. No longer was it a structure around it to stop people or prevent people from stealing.
Right.
So our insurance rates went up during that time. I would suggest anybody that's buying a house, if they have a slab in the backyard, and even if they don't, do a new driveway and do a garage in the backyard. Okay, your insurance goes down exponentially.
Gotcha.
Okay, and at the same time, your house is valued for more.
Gotcha.
The other thing, I talked to a contractor friend of mine. His mother was getting elderly. I said, why not do a 2nd floor laundry so she doesn't have to walk down the basement anymore?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, those are things that make your home functional again.
Yeah.
Not functionally obsolescent, but functional.
I had said that my future design of my last home, or you know, not to say this is not going to be, because you don't know, but in my mind, if I have the blessing of a last home, it would be every floor that I could possibly be on will have a laundry.
Exactly.
You know, we would have like 2 separate his and hers bathrooms, not just things. It's all of these things when you start thinking about functionality and living in the space that actually adds value for me. You know, that might not add value to you, but that adds value to me.
And not only that, that would help the seniors stay in the home a lot longer.
Yes, because I'm telling you, every so often when my knee gives out from coming up these stairs,
Absolutely.
I'm like, we got to build this right on the main floor. I need a bedroom.
Exactly. And I've only been in one home where they modified it to the point where they had this 1st floor laundry immediately across from the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
And that was because their father was disabled to the point where he couldn't climb the stairs. Not only that, they had a little patio that was on the outside of the house. They enclosed the walls, and where the jacuzzi was, they put a bedroom in the place of the jacuzzi.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay.
So everything was on one level until he died.
To meet the needs.
Absolutely.
Well, Ken, we have about 10 minutes left. And so before we go into it, we have a couple of more events to showcase, and then we'll be right back to wind up.
Not a problem.
Your workshop, build, repair, strengthen your credit. Tuesday, March 19th at 6 p.m. Guest panelists Crystal Gunn, Reginald Gilson, Brooke Ratliff. Register today.
Thompson Business Services, turn your dreams to reality. Grant Writing 101. Saturday, March 30th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. TechTown Detroit, 440 Borough Street, Detroit, Michigan.
The National Association of Real Estate Brokers, in partnership with the Church of God in Christ, presents 100 City Community Impact Day. Saturday, April 13th. Free services and classes for the community.
Let us support you and your event by adding it to our programming. Visit www.dealswithbob.com and contact us today.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube and search for Deals with Bob and click the subscribe button.
So, Kim, we're back. Okay, now there was one event that was featured during this segment that I would want you to share some additional information about.
Okay.
Okay, and that would be the 100 City Community Impact Day. From when you were telling me about this, I could tell the excitement that you had about this event that's coming up. Please share with others so that they can really understand what this means.
Absolutely. Like you said, I'm excited about this event. This event is going to happen Saturday, April 13th. It is a means to call out the city of Detroit. I want the city of Detroit and surrounding communities to get ready for this event, because I don't think anything of to this scale has been done in years, where we've had a home buying seminar with all of the financial institutions, all of the hopefully all of the Divine Nine, which are the Black fraternities and sororities, as well as the National Bar Association. Those are our memorandum of understanding partners, the Deltas, the Alphas, the Sigmas, and hopefully the remainder of the remaining 6 fraternities and sororities get involved in our community, from one end of our community to the other end, from the metropolitan Detroit area, which includes Wayne, Oakland, Macomb, Washtenaw if need be, but definitely encompassed within that within Wayne County is the city of Detroit. We want to make sure that those individuals that are renting presently, you don't have to do that. Okay, this is your time to become a homeowner. Black wealth is what we're going to espouse that whole week or whole month. And black home ownership is a part of that black wealth. That's the best way to establish wealth within our community. We don't want you to rent anymore. We don't want you to spend 30% or 50% or more of your monthly income on something that is not yours. We want you to invest in yourself. We want you to bet on yourself. I had a situation years ago with my stepfather, and my stepfather and I would bet on boxing, basketball, and football every weekend that he would give me an allowance on Friday. It would be back in his hands on Sunday.
Wow.
Because I bet on the wrong team, or I bet on the wrong boxer. He got knocked out in the first round, or somewhere between the first and the 12th round. But at the same time, after months of doing this, my stepfather sat me down. He said, "Listen, you are betting on someone else. You betting on someone else's dream. You don't know what their motivation for either winning or losing, or just being indifferent. What you need to do is bet on yourself."
I like that.
I never lost any money on a bet since then. I've never bet on anything other than myself since then.
I love
but
that.
I'm going to give everyone that's within the listening audience a charge. Bet on yourself.
Yes.
Anybody in your household that you're looking at now that goes in the bathroom, reaches in the refrigerator, cooks something on the stove, sleeps in a bed, uses your address, I want you to bet on them.
Yes.
and not on anyone else. You're investing in someone else's dream, and they're loving it.
Yeah.
Because you're dependent on them as opposed to being dependent upon yourself.
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
So invest in yourself. Bet on yourself from this moment forward. And you will never, and I mean this, you will never be broke again.
I believe that. So, Ken, I believe you're the perfect person to answer this question that came in. And they said they hear so much about, home ownership, and they're coming. This is coming from a business owner, and since you're a broker and not just in residential retail, they said what's out there then for, or an advantage for a business? Should they have business ownership versus leasing?
Absolutely. I'm looking for a place now for myself. So I don't want to pay no one else's bill.
So then we got all of these push and interest in home ownership for minorities. Do they have anything for minority businesses looking for business ownership?
Absolutely. There's a term called CDFIs. There's a term called banks, community development financial institutions that will loan you money in order to start businesses. There are banks that will help you do that. There are credit unions that will help you do that. You just have to Google it like you Google everything else, like you Google a ticket for a concert or someplace to eat or somewhere to vacation. Google it, because the opportunities are there. Whether you believe it or not, they're there, and you just haven't taken the time to seize the moment. But at the same time, one of the core principles tonight is that we want you to get your house in order.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
I want you to get your finances
in order. You got to get your finances in order.
Absolutely. And then at that point in time, you can access all that information. Once the opportunity presents itself, then you won't have any problem of getting approved for that particular function, whether it be buying a home or buying a business or buying a building or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, the first step begins on you and you betting on yourself.
Right. And what I will highlight is that Ken earlier said something, and he used the terminology about fear or assuming that you can't get something. And here's the thing. Just try. Even if you don't get it, you will know exactly what you need in order to correct it, because I guarantee you the majority of things that you're thinking you do need and don't have are probably not true. So when you actually go and find out, you know exactly what you need to work towards, and that way you're not wasting energies either on something that you don't need to focus on.
Absolutely.
And or thinking that is something major when it might not be. So, awesome. Well,
let me say this as well, Sonia. There's not a forum that I don't go into or a meeting that I don't go into or some situation that I don't go into that I want to gain knowledge, and I don't. I go into that knowing that if I'm going to attend this function, I'm getting something out of it.
Right.
And I'm not going to be fearful of asking about it, because in a lot of cases, the people that are there with you don't ask the questions. I've been at forums where the information went over so many people's head that they were neglected to ask the question that they wanted to ask because of somebody else looking at them. I'm like, the heck with that. Understand this. I came here to win. Okay,
and you can't win if you don't know all the information.
If you don't get in the game. Okay, you can't sit on the sidelines and wait for somebody to give you permission.
Right.
I was at a function about a month ago, and a young lady sitting in the corner and everything, and I know her potential because she's one of my members. And she's sitting in the corner, and everybody else is networking and everything. I said, shoot, I know about half the crowd in here. I like, come here for a minute. She said, what's up? I said, no, I'm introducing you to everybody in here that I know. So you'll know them. Okay? Do not be fearful of the process. Let the process be fearful of you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Exactly.
Go in there, own the room. If there's anybody in there that you haven't met, that you want to meet, go in there and challenge yourself to meet that individual. Because the last thing I want you to do is go home and say, oh, nobody introduced me. Or no, I didn't meet the person that I wanted to meet. Or no, I didn't get the information that I came to get.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go in there with fire.
Yep.
I'm about to go to a function of a lot of Black organizations. I don't go into a room that I can't win in.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't. I was not brought up that way, and I know a lot of people are fearful of how they were brought up and what have you. Sometimes you have to challenge yourself. Like my father said, bet on yourself.
Bet on yourself.
Okay? They don't know that you don't know.
Exactly, right? They don't know.
Okay? They don't know what you that you don't know.
And here's the thing. You might not really realize certain things because your perception of yourself is never as great as it should be, I believe,
Right.
So here's the thing. I would find myself like in awe of different things, and then I would go in and people would be in awe. I'm like, what you in awe of me for? You're like, so
you know why they're in awe of you, Sonia? Because you're doing something that they don't want to do, or they can't do, or they are not willing to do.
Well,
you have to stretch yourself. Okay?
That might be true, but what I was
you have to expand your circle.
I said that comment to say is that a lot of times people will not approach other people because they have elevated them so much in their minds that they feel that they're out of reach.
That's true.
That's what I was really trying to articulate. When you really recognize what you have done in your area of work, no matter how big or small, even if it might be a small circle, if you've been committed, consistent, and it's been quality and excellence, that's really the formula for wherever you're at.
Exactly. I want to tell you, believe it or not, at one point in time, I was quiet.
You was who?
I was quiet.
Quiet. Okay.
I was an introvert. I went to a party one time where I wanted to meet this young lady. I must have been in my early teens, and I'm telling you, I was a wallflower. I was holding up this wall. I mean, this wall had fallen and everything. I would have kept it up. But at the same time, I realized after a certain amount of time, quiet people have to make some noise.
Mm-hmm.
If you want something out of life.
If you want something.
You want something, you go in there and you say, I want to kill it.
Now, let me tell you that this morning, it's ironic that you say it, and we're a little over time, just so you know. This morning, the sermon from a minister was talking about shout.
Exactly.
Shout. And he was saying that the two blind men were shouting for Jesus, and the crowd told them to be quiet, and they shouted even louder.
Absolutely.
It was the shout that got the attention that ultimately got them their healing miracle.
Absolutely.
So what you just said is true. You cannot just let life bypass and be quiet. Sometimes you have to let people know, hey, I'm here. You know?
And not only that, I'm your equal.
Uh-huh.
I'm not subservient to you, submissive to you, whatever the case may be. When I'm in a room like that, I walk in to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
confidence, ownership, and all of those things make a difference. When I go into a room, if nothing else, I will exude confidence. If I don't say anything, my aura, my mannerism, my energy is gonna say everything, whether my mouth says it or not.
Absolutely.
So that's
Absolutely.
huge. That's huge.
Like I said, and my father said, bet on yourself. If you don't bet on anything else, bet on yourself.
Exactly. So
That you're
Ken,
gonna come beyond this.
as we have to wrap up, I need you to share what book is on your nightstand or that you recently read or would highly recommend reading.
Let's see. I always do this. I always go back to this book because it's one of my favorites of all time. It's the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing.
Okay.
The immutable laws of marketing is that you can't leave anything for chance. You got to promote yourself. You got to be the best, the first, the last, the most important, the loudest that you can be in order to promote you and yourself.
I love it.
You will never get anything by being quiet, except some
all,
rest.
no one's gonna be
except
as
for rest.
passionate, right? No one's gonna be as passionate about it anyway as you are in the first place. So you might as well shout about it because you got the passion.
Absolutely. I mean, it's imperative that you bet on yourself. I mean, go out the house betting on yourself. Okay, when you go out the house and you go into a club or church or whatever the case may be, and you putting that nice outfit on, that nice makeup, doing your hair and everything, that tie, the dress, whatever the case may be, you betting on yourself.
Exactly.
Act like you betting on yourself 24/7.
And so, Ken, how can people connect with you?
My phone number is 313-819-7065. It's 313-819-7065. Always bet on yourself.
Gotcha. We have to say a special thank you to our core businesses that sponsor us, and that's Boss Entertainment Group, Detroit Metro Plug Podcast, Tax Divas, and Phlebotomy Express Training Centers. Thank you for sponsoring tonight's show. As we stated throughout the show, if you have not already done so, you're not a subscriber, please become a subscriber today. As we increase our subscribers, we will also increase our reach and our visibilities for the amazing Black businesses that we have on our program. So to subscribe to our channel, just go to YouTube, do a search for Deals with Bob, and click that subscribe button. While you're there, if you hit that notification bell, you will be notified every time we go live. So again, Ken, I just want to say thank you so very much for being on tonight. As always, we had a phenomenal conversation. And of course, you have shared so much information that is very beneficial to so many people watching and to our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sonia.
And I want to thank you guys for watching. I appreciate your support. I am Sonia M. Weaver, and I encourage you to spend with purpose because your dollar does matter, and deal with Bob. You have an amazing night. I'll see you next week.